What's up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and you're listening to Real AF. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to motherfucking reality. Today, I've got something real special, real special for you. It's called a segment, What the Fuck is Going On? That's what we're calling it, by the way. WTF. Now, if you're familiar with the MFCEO project, you're probably familiar with the longer shows and then also a shorter show. This would be the shorter format show similar to Friday Fire or Thursday Thunder that we did for years and years. Except we're going to be talking about real situations and real life. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to have a number of different formats for the show, four to be exact, four different kinds of shows that will fall under the WTF show. So next week when you tune in, it will be a different kind of show. But today's format, and I'm going to get my help and my news clippings from my man Tyler, MC Salmon, Ripped Jeans. What else are you?
A lot of names you don't want to call me on there.
I don't know if I can call you. He's not the pastor of disaster. He's more like the pain in my ass or something like that. I don't know.
I gladly accept.
Yeah. But he is my homie, and he's going to help me out with these little shows, all right? So today, the segment is called Yin and Yang, and it's where we're going to go over some really bad shit, and then we're going to go over some really good shit, and we're going to talk it through. So let's get started.
All right, man.
We're going to start
We're going to start off with the ugly.
All right,
and dude, this one's gonna hit you a little hard because you're gonna have a lot in common with this. As soon as I start reading the story, you're gonna be like, "Fuck," because I mean, like, imagine you're out, having a great time, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get stabbed. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys don't know. If you don't know, just go ahead and read it.
Yeah. All right. So the ugly. This happened in Nashville. Police announced on Wednesday that they had arrested a man in connection with Saturday's slaying of Clayton Beathard, the younger brother of San Francisco 49ers quarterback C.J. Beathard, and Paul Trapani III at a Nashville bar. So, like I said, they're out having a good time, and who knows what exactly happened.
And now they're dead.
Now they're dead.
Okay.
So the facts are this. The suspect facing 2 counts of criminal homicide, his name is Michael Mosley. He's 23 years old. He's also facing 1 count of attempted criminal homicide after 3 men were stabbed. He's being held without bond on the homicide charges and on a $5 million bond for the attempted criminal homicide. But at the time of the slaying, Mosley was free on a $5,000 bond over a felony assault charge lodged against him in December of 2018. Court records say that he punched and kicked a 37-year-old woman at a Walmart. And Michael Mosley has past convictions for assault, robbery, car theft, burglary, including one incident in which he stabbed a man and cut a woman in 2015 and received a 3.5-year prison sentence. So he's definitely got a history of doing this shit. Don Aaron, a spokesman for the Nashville Metropolitan Police Department, was asked how a man who had committed multiple violent acts in the past could be allowed out of prison. And that's a pretty fucking good question.
Yeah, I'd say so, man. A lot of you guys don't know, I was also the victim of a violent crime. It was also an incident where there was a stabbing. I was stabbed 3 times in the face, once in the back, 160 stitches in my face, permanent paralysis on the left side of my face. If you haven't heard the story, it's pretty brutal. But I have experience with this, and yeah, you're right, dude. It does hit close to home. Almost the identical scenario, not identical, but very similar to what happened to me. I was lucky enough to not die, clearly, but that's fucking terrible, man.
But I mean, the guy who stabbed you also had a criminal history.
And so that's the thing. We live in a society right now where everybody needs a cause to fight for, and sometimes those causes supersede common sense. All right. I'm all for everybody getting a fair shake. I'm all for second chances. But what I'm not for is third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh chances when we have someone who's clearly got something wrong with them and clearly they are not interested in changing the way they behave. So how do we deal with these people? How do we handle these people who consistently do harm in our society but continuously get second and third chances because there's so many people out there with bleeding hearts. And listen, I get it, man. You have empathy for people. You want to believe that these people have some good in them. But I'm going to tell you from somebody who has dealt with this kind of shit firsthand. There are people out there who are just bad. They are bad people. And certain people stay bad their entire lives. They don't, whatever the reason. They were raised wrong. They were abused. They didn't have a dad. There could be a trillion reasons. He was having a bad fucking day. But none of those reasons justify people crossing the line to take the lives and injure people who are literally just living their life.
Yeah, it's not like they're out there killing their own fucking evil people like them.
No,
they're out there hurting innocent people.
Maybe they could get paid for something like that. I don't know. But, dude, we've got to find a solution to this because this is just starting to, we're seeing this over and over again. We're seeing every 2 weeks something gets shot up. You know, people, here's what it comes down to. You could say, oh, it's this. Oh, it's social media. Oh, it's their parents. Oh, it's lack of family values. You know what? It could be all of those things, but none of those things excuse that behavior. And that's where we're off as a society. So here's what I think. And this is my solution to these kind of problems. And I know it's a little bit out there, but it's the truth. If you guys have all watched Forensic Files, which if you haven't, you should, because it's a great fucking show, you know that there's plenty of situations where a cold case or a case that was 10, 15, 20 years old, you know that, because that's what the show is, they bring that case to the forefront and then they solve it with forensic science. That's the basis of the show. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that technology to do those things, to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that people did these things, was not there. So we had to have this extended stay in prison, before we executed people or before we dealt with them permanently so that we could have due process of the law. And I'm all about due process. I'm all about, making absolutely sure that it was the person who is accused of the crime. I am all for that. But we have the technology to do that now in a very short amount of time. So this is my thing. I personally think, and this is my perspective, but I think that the way to cure this shit from happening is to A, make harsher laws, and B, shorten the punishment window. Meaning that if this man gets convicted, instead of him waiting 20 years to be dealt with on death row, how about we deal with it in fucking 5 months?
Save a fuck ton of money.
No
shit.
Taxpayers' dollars. And not only that, it instills an amount of fear. If someone knows, fuck, dude, if I get caught doing this, I'm going to be dead in 6 months or dead in 5 months or dead in 90 days, there's a lot less chance of them to actually do that. That's the truth.
But instead, they're going into the court system like, oh, I'm going to be offered a deal.
Correct.
Or if I have good behavior,
correct,
I get out in X
We've
amount of
gotten
time.
way too lenient, bro. We've gotten, and the technology, we don't need to be that lenient anymore. And I, for one, I'm sick of seeing innocent motherfuckers hurt, families destroyed, people, permanently disfigured or injured because of some motherfucker that can't operate, in groups of people, clearly, like society. So I'm sick of seeing shit like this. This is very sad. 2 young men, and dude, even if they were bad men, I don't know, because they could be bad, they could be good, they could be a gang thing. It doesn't fucking matter because they're dead. That means they have no chance at life. They're in the ground. They are gone. They are fucking not coming back. That's not okay.
Well, especially going back to like the prison sentence that he probably might get, like compared to like, let's say tax evasion, where you could get fucking 30, 40 years.
Dude, but you got people getting 10 years in jail for marijuana when marijuana is legal in half the fucking states now.
But if you kill somebody, you could be out in 3.
Dude, look, man, I'm all for a chance.
Do you think the lawyers are partly to blame in this? Like, do you think that
absolutely?
Do you think that the defense lawyers should be capped salary wise so that there's no incentive for them to?
The problem is, bro, is that look, I've got some friends who are attorneys and they're good dudes. But there's a lot of people out there that are not good dudes and they're just in it to get paid. And they're not in it for the good of society. And we have so many of these people out there now that they're not willing to do what's right over what's going to get them paid. And that's why we have a problem with this, because the lawyers make the laws. So they understand that if they cut the punishment time down or if they change the laws to be more harsh, they're going to make less money. And that's really the problem that we have here. I don't think that anybody listening to this, well, most people listening to this are going to disagree that this motherfucker should have never been on the street in the first place. I mean, past convictions, assault, robbery, car theft, burglary.
All before 23.
Yeah. Stabbed a man and cut a woman in 2015, got 3.5 years. Okay? That guy should not have been out to do these things. That's the point. So I agree with Don Aaron, who is the spokesman for the Nashville Metropolitan Police, and saying, what the fuck? Because that's what he's saying. So
yeah, have you ever seen the movie Law Abiding Citizen? Gerard
it's
Butler?
one of my favorite movies
Dude,
ever.
But that shit happens.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
His wife and daughter are murdered, and the fucking murderer gets off on like a technicality.
It happens every day, bro.
Dude, it's depressing.
It is. And there's not enough accountability for true criminals. Dude, do people, we have, as a society, we have to be able to draw the line between, is this an accident? Was it a mistake? Was it a poor judgment? What happened? Was it a passionate thing? What is the situation? We have to be able to draw the line between that and people who are fucking evil. And we're not doing that right now because there's a lot of people who have never experienced this kind of situation, which I have personally, not with my family, with fucking me, that don't understand the implications of these kind of things. So we have people out there with no real hardship, no real life experience, making up these rules for other people who the people trying to fight for these people don't understand that motherfucker you're fighting for will cut your fucking face off.
They don't think it could ever affect them.
Well, they don't understand that if they were put in a room with that person will cut your head off to take your wallet. So we have to do a better job at drawing a line between the situation and, the person as being a flawed human for real. So, look, dude, I'm all for it. I guarantee you, dude, if you made DWIs a year in jail, people stop driving drunk. It would solve the problem. So
why do you think they don't, though?
Because there's money involved.
There's money.
Right. There's tons of money.
Dude.
I can tell you what, if they ever did that, though, I'll start a cab company. But anyway, that's the ugly, man. That's the ugly. And when you guys think about what's wrong with society, think about these things. So what's the good, dude?
Man, the good, this one's going to hit home, too. You might not like talking about it, but I think you'll appreciate, the message and the lesson in this.
Okay.
So a father and a 12-year-old son build a real-sized Lamborghini Aventador SV replica using a 3D printer, which is pretty cool. The Lambo is drivable. Like, it's got a twin-turbo LS1, so it sounds like a pretty fun car.
Yeah.
And a team from Lamborghini found out about this, and they arrived in the middle of the night and replaced the replica with a real Aventador S Roadster in the family garage, only a few days before Christmas. Lamborghini left the black Aventador S Roadster for them to enjoy during 2 weeks as a way to show its appreciation for their passion. They do say, though, the brand is not big. They're not a big fan of people building replicas of their supercars. Well, I can understand that, copyright.
Yeah. So basically, if you want a free Lamborghini, go out and 3D print a fucking fake one. Right. They'll give you a free one. That's kind of a dumb move on their part from a strategy part.
Yeah, but hold up. You know what's funny is you could tell people that. Lamborghini could literally tell people that, and most people wouldn't do it.
No, I know. That's true. But, look, man, I've got my grievances with Lamborghini. A lot of you guys don't really know, but I've been a huge Lamborghini advocate my entire life. From the time I was 8 years old, I saw my first Lamborghini Countach. I've supported that brand. I've loved that brand. I've bought a number of those cars, a lot of them.
It's what basically started your passion for cars.
Yeah,
right?
for sure, dude, for sure. My passion for cars rooted in that first time I saw a Lamborghini.
And then their history reinforced it.
Yeah, dude, and they've got a cool history. It's very much so kind of fuck the status quo. We're going to do our own thing. And I've always loved that about that company. But after owning over 20 of their cars, after sponsoring their race team for the last 3 or 4 years, including their factory race team and putting literally millions of dollars into their brand, they basically blew me off as a customer this past year. And we had a big falling out over a couple of issues. So I'm not real hot on this brand as a whole. You know, I've sat down and tried to help these guys. I've had conversations with the CEO of North America, the CEO, about how to improve little things that can make their brand better. And it, you know, they just didn't want to hear it. And so I'm not a big Lamborghini fan, but
Hell, you sold all yours, didn't you?
yeah, I fucking sold them one day. You know, when this all happened, I called my buddy and I said, "Hey, dude," I said, "What do you got?" And he said, "I got a 599 Ferrari GTO."
And that is one of the baddest cars I've ever ridden in.
Yes, it is an amazing car. And I said, "Okay, come pick up the 2 road cars," because I had some race cars and the road cars. I said, "Come pick up my my SV Roadster and my Huracan Performante and bring me the GTO." And he brought them to me on the truck. I took a video of them unloading the Ferrari and taking the Lambos, and I sent it to the CEOs of fucking Lamborghini.
Dude, did he say anything?
Huh? No, they're mad at me.
Oh.
But but the point is I respect this. I think this is a step in the right direction. I think it's very important for companies to recognize passion. I think it's very important for people to recognize every single customer, but especially these kind of customers who are so passionate that they're willing to like spend their own time and their own money and their own ways to really support the brand. Because even though they went and made their own product, Lamborghini just chose to look at it as a positive thing and say, "Hey, we like your passion. Let's give you this experience." I respect that. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, because what would a typical large company do?
Oh, they'd say, fuck. They would send them a cease and desist, and they'd probably slap them
Please
with
dismantle
a suit.
this shit now.
Yeah, and like dude, that's kind of what they did with me. All right, it didn't get lawyer ugly, but it got ugly, and so I respect this. You know, as much as I'm angry with that brand, I think this says a lot about that company, and it says a lot of things positive about that company. Now, I'm still not buying their cars. I'm still not going to buy their cars, but this is what I've always wanted to see from Lamborghini. This is what I've wanted to see them do. I've wanted to see them get involved with people who are on the ground level, who love their brand, who live and breathe and eat that brand, which a lot of people do, and really acknowledge it. So kudos to you guys at Lamborghini, even though I'm mad at you, for doing the right thing. This is really cool. And I think it serves as a great example for a lot of people in business to acknowledge people that support your company, even if they don't do it necessarily in the right way.
I mean, how much did that even cost them, do you think?
Oh, you know, it's a drop in the bucket.
Exactly.
And it's good press for them. But beyond the good press and beyond the costs, it would have been cool to see them like give them the car. That would have been cool. I think that would be a lot cooler. But I understand that, you know, they have expensive cars, and I get it. Like, dude, Lamborghini's big, but they're not so big that they can just give out $500,000 cars. So I thought this was a really cool story, and you know, even though my bias is definitely towards the negative, you know, this show is called Real AF, and sometimes when I don't agree with things, I'm still going to give props, and I think this is a good example of that. So kudos to Lamborghini for doing that. I think it's cool. I'm still not buying your cars, and I'm still mad at you, but
Doesn't mean you never will again.
I probably won't, but at least I got a little bit more respect for the company, and I acknowledge the fact that they're trying to do the right things, and I think that's really fucking cool. And I think more companies should do things like that.
That's how you create customer loyalty.
Yeah, for sure. That is how you create customer loyalty. And it's also, dude, the bottom line, bro, is it's just the right thing. Like when someone shows that much interest and involvement in your company to the point where they're taking their own money, their own time, and their own, resources to create something that is basically a tribute to their love for that company. I mean, we're lucky enough to have that with First Form, we have so many amazing customers that like live
get
and
tattoos.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I always love that. And what's really cool is that social media is now creating a scenario where huge companies are now having to acknowledge these kind of situations. And I think this is a very smart move for Lamborghini. And it shows that that they're moving the right direction with the times. So yeah, super, super cool. So guys, that's it, man. Yin and yang, the good and the bad. All right, we're going to do this on a regular basis. I appreciate you guys. I love all the support you're showing us. If you thought it was funny, if you thought it was cool, if you thought it was enlightening, give us a little share, maybe a little like, maybe a little review. That's the fee, okay? We have this thing called the fee. The fee is this. If you enjoy the content, spread it out, okay? We're not charging money. We're not trying to get people to pay for this shit. We're just trying to talk about some things that we think are cool, funny, and, you know, make relevant points in society. So thank you so much for all the support, guys. I'm really, really excited about where we're going to take this show. Bear with us as we get it up and running. You know, it's Christmas time. It's new for us, and there's some logistical issues with, you know, guests and getting them all here. I promise you, once we hit 2020, we're going to be running full speed and steam ahead. I guess we'll just leave that in there. I don't know. That's real. Can't always sound like the velvet god of podcasting. Wow, that sounds really conceited. Whatever. Cut that out. I can't always sound, you know, all perfect. But, guys, fuck. Hold on. I need to go back to what did I say? I'll start over. So guys, that's the show, the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. And that's what we're going to give you with this show. It's going to be consistent. I'm not always going to agree with, you know, everything that every company does or every situation in society, but I'm going to give credit where it's due. And I'm also going to say things that need to be said. And that's what this show is about. So I love you guys for supporting the show. Bear with us as we get it going. It's been the holiday season. We have a lot going on here. And I promise you, once 2020 hits here solid, we're going to be rolling full steam ahead with consistent shows every single week. It's going to be at least 2 shows a week. And hopefully, you know, eventually move into an everyday format. But until we do that, that's what we're going to do. So today, yin and yang. Now, one last thing. If you're a new listener and you got a chuckle, if you thought we made a point, if we brought some awareness, or you thought you learned something, or just said something that you think needs to be shared, we don't charge, we don't run ads. I don't run 7 or 10 or 20 minutes of ads for the show. All I do is ask that you share it. So, and I don't mean share it once. I mean per episode. So if you like the episode, give us a little share, have a little conversation with your friend, and let's get this out here, guys. Let's get some shit solved. That's Real AF, WTF, and I'll see you guys next time.